Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to have a little chat about the next wave of Warhammer Animations, which, by the way, at some point, I will say Warhammer Animations because I have restarted this video about 7 times at this point because I just can't say those two words next to each other. You'd think that with English being my only language, I would be, in some way capable of speaking it, but no. Although if you've been around here for any length of time, you already knew that was not the case anyway. So, Warhammer Animations is branching out. There's going to be a considerable number of new things because they have reached out into the community and basically plucked the best and the brightest from the community. It's starting with Astartes. Now, you've probably heard of Astartes. I'd be amazed if you hadn't heard of Astartes. I would say you can find it easily on YouTube. You technically can, but it's not on YouTube on the official Astartes channel anymore. Instead, I'll put a link in the description to the Warhammer Animation site where you can watch it now, because that is now an official thing. So the creator of Astartes, and I'm so sorry for how badly I'm about to butcher your name, I will do my best, but as we've just discussed, I can barely speak English. So Simon Peterson has partnered with the Games Workshop Warhammer Animations team to do a second lot of Astartes. And they did in fact give a quote, which is, I'm super excited for Astartes to transition to an official project. I never would have thought that this would be happening, and I can't thank the amazing fans enough for their encouragement. It's been my dream to animate Warhammer 40,000 ever since playing Space Crusade as a kid, and I'm pumped to work with the real deal Warhammer guys at Games Workshop to bring the fans the best Astartes action possible. And that's just the start of it. They've also started working with Lost Legion Studios, who are making the Exodite, which is the Tau/Exodite thing. There's also Pixel Art, who are making Primaris the Last Templar, which is a Black Templars animation, and Codex Film on Iron Within, which is, of course, Iron Warriors, which, without any hint of bias, I'm really looking forward to seeing, as you are probably not at all surprised to learn. So they've expanded out. The animation team has gone into the community and grabbed the people doing really good work, or who have already done really good work, and gone, let's do more, let us support you, let's make more of this stuff happen. And I mean, for me, this is just a positive thing. Clearly, it's something for the creators to actually be excited about, to have all of the hard work and all of the effort and everything paid off by. Let's face it, if you're making these, you're not doing it just because you're bored. It requires a vast amount of passion and motivation and dedication to the subject material to sit and make something like Astartes, to make something like the Exodite. It's not like they've sat there and gone, well, I've got 5 minutes free. No, it's hours and hours and hours of work to do one little bit and then to pull it all together. And especially in the case of Astartes, it is hands down one of, if not the best Warhammer animation, just flat out for me personally. I mean, every part of it is essentially perfect. I know the ending was a bit mad and kind of came out of nowhere, but I absolutely loved it for that exact reason. It was eldritch and creepy and weird, and it stunk of warp shenanigans, except was it even warp shenanigans, or was it just incredibly ancient alien technology? All of it, it's just really, really good. The lighting, the sound design, everything about it, it's just exceptional. And Games Workshop have clearly recognised that. Now, I will say, there has already been a few things that I've seen kind of worrying about things like creative meddling, and I have watched the version of Astartes that is now on the animation side, and it is slightly different. In fact, I think let's address that quickly first, because this has already come up from a few people that I've seen talking about the fact that things like the music in Astartes is different. So the version that's on the Games Workshop kind of animation site is not the same as the ones that were uploaded to YouTube. There are changes to the music. I think a little bit of the sound design has changed as well, like a couple of sound effects, although I would need to go back and watch the original again. The music, however, it's kind of easy to see what's changed. I would say overall, the tone of it is no different. It's not like a match-for-match situation of music being switched about for things that sound as close as possible, but at the same time, the overall atmosphere, the overall tone of it is pretty much unchanged. There's just a few rhythmic things that aren't there anymore. And to be honest, that, I'm assuming, is just down to the simple fact that copyright and fair use and all of that stuff kind of sucks. I'm going on the basis that probably what's happened is there is stuff in there that is either taken from films. I could have sworn the first time I watched, I think was it a part? I can't remember which part of Astartes it was. No, I can't remember. But there's something in there that really reminded me heavily of Dread, and I was like, that sounds super familiar, but it's probably just like a similar kind of like dark ambient thing, because Dread had a bit of that going on with the soundtrack. My assumption is that music was used in there that either Games Workshop don't have the rights to, or technically Astartes doesn't have the rights to. You can't just grab any bit of music from anything and stick it in your project, and you might be able to get away with it for a bit as like a fan film, but there's no guarantee that you would continue to get away with that, especially if it's an official project. So it could just be exactly that, oh hey, some of this is copyrighted and we can't mess with it, we're going to have to change that. I wouldn't blame them at all for just sidestepping that entire issue by changing some of the music out. But it did lead to a few people that I saw kind of going, oh, well, they're going to mess about with it. They're going to take creative control. That's one of the main worries that I've seen a lot of, that they're going to take creative control. I don't know necessarily that is something to be hugely concerned about when it comes to Games Workshop. And I say that because Games Workshop are very, very good at hiring people who love Games Workshop. You don't hire the creator of Astartes so that you can piss around and mess about with their creative process. You don't hire them and go, well, what you did was universally loved and acclaimed. It is one of the most popular things that Warhammer has ever seen, but we're gonna have to just pull the strings a little bit here. That seems kind of unlikely. The chances are they will have seen it and gone, oh my god, that's amazing. Well, clearly we need to work with this person. We should just let them do what they like. If anything, this could turn out to be... But it could turn out to make things kind of easier. I would imagine there's a lot of assets that Games Workshop have when it comes to things like 3D models and the like that previously might have had to make yourself. There's probably a lot of stuff in there that can be shared or revealed or kind of used to make the creation of the next Astartes a little bit easier, or at the very least provide a little bit more, I don't know, depth if depth is wanted. In terms of how big a scale it could be, I mean, not in terms of how deep the storytelling is, because Astartes was perfectly fine for that. I more just mean, like, it could be expanded out even more should the creator wish to do that, with the help of an animation team that specifically deal with Warhammer and have all the Games Workshop resources behind them. I don't think it's necessarily something to be too concerned about, because they've hired these people, they've hired these teams, you know, the ones working on the Exodite and the Last Templar and Iron Within, because they see people who are passionate about their product. They see people who clearly know what they're doing, clearly have an idea as to how to build the thing they want to build, and they're supporting them in their creation. I don't think they're necessarily taking them over so that they can turn them into what they want them to be. It's much more likely, to my mind at least, that they've worked with them because they've got a pretty easy win here, frankly. They can just work with them, give them the support they need, and then when these people make the film that they were going to make anyway, Games Workshop gets to go, an official Warhammer animation, instead of it being a fan animation. Why would you mess with that? You don't have to do all that much. Just give them the stuff they need, and then let them go away and do it. And you've got the thing that people wanted anyway, that they were going to make anyway, and now you get part of the credit. I really think sometimes it's easy to look at Games Workshop and go, oh, well, they haven't released Tyranids since 2014, therefore they make terrible decisions. But when it comes to things like marketing, Games Workshop have what so many companies probably desperately wish they could have, which is free marketing just as far as the eye can see. I mean, hell, we're talking about it. Look at this channel, for God's sake. They don't pay me. They don't give me shit. But the thing is, I really like a lot of what they do, and so we talk about it. The thing is, even the stuff I don't like, we talk about that as well. Look at, just the whole, 40k community on YouTube. All of it. From me to Valrak to SN to Winters, you've got Striking Scorpion, you've got Play on Tabletop, you've got all these people talking about Games Workshop, no matter whether it's in a positive or negative light. The fact is, Their name is out there constantly. And you know what they're having to do to achieve that is effectively just continue on as normal. Keep releasing models, keep releasing books, keep releasing codexes. Now, release merchandise, release animations, work with fan creators, work with fan films, all of that stuff. They can just carry on as normal. And the thing is, even if you took out the entire YouTube side of the ecosystem, you go on Twitter, you go on Instagram, and within moments of searching, you can find hundreds, if not thousands, of talented people painting Games Workshop products going, look at this cool thing I painted. And then someone says, that's amazing, what is that? And they go, it's the thing from Games Workshop. And oh, look, there's free marketing again. They don't have to meddle with it. They don't need to try and get creative with it. They can just let these studios, these creators, these people do what they would do anyway, and then call it an official animation, and their job is done. And that's it. Why would you? Why would you mess with it? I don't think they're that daft. I really don't. It's obviously for these studios and for these creators, it is a massively big deal. It is being recognised by the company that makes the IP that you love so much you are prepared to pile hundreds, if not thousands of hours into animating stuff for. How could you turn that down? How could you turn it down? I don't think you could, and I would imagine that's why none of them have. And I know that there's always going to be the conspiracy theories. There's always going to be maybe what if they were threatened to shut down? What if they said, if you don't join us, then we'll get rid of your thing? Again, I don't think that's something Games Workshop would necessarily do, because can you imagine the outcry and the amount of bad press they would get if Astartes suddenly vanished one day and it was because Games Workshop said no? I mean, what's the better solution for that? If you see something and you go, well, that massively infringes on our copyright and it is a fan project, we could either take it down and get absolutely annihilated by our entire fan base for being a bunch of arseholes, or we could work with this person who's clearly vastly talented and you could pretty much just keep going as normal, except we get to call it official at the end. What do you think they're going to do? They might not release as much Xenos stuff as we like, but they're not idiots. And yeah, it's obviously massively positive for them all around, for Games Workshop and for the people making this it just baffles me and blows me away how good these animations are for the most part. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm just happy for the people who have got this opportunity through their own hard work and their own passion and creativity. It's paying off for them. Why be pessimistic about that, you know? Anyway, that's enough. That's a long... Oh my god, I've really rambled in this one. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of I was going to say the acquisition. It's not... I think acquisition is probably a bit strong. About the partnership of these various studios with Games Workshop's animation team in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. And as always, there's a link for Element Games in the description, which you can use to support the channel if you'd like. I totally, absolutely guffed that last bit, but whatever. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.